Okay, so this is the 6th episode of Ryan's Ramblings. I sound terrible. I've got a cold. That's why we're a day late. I literally couldn't talk yesterday. I couldn't have done this yesterday at all. So we're going to attempt it today, but if I sound like a squeaky little mouse creature and I suddenly look like I'm talking, but something's wrong with your volume, there's not anything wrong with your volume. It's me. I'm broken. But we're going to do Ryan's Ramblings. So you get 5 minutes to talk about something that is in this bag, one of these topics. Some people have sent in some of these, so we'll see if we get one of them that someone has sent in. That would be fun. Last week was synthetic fabrics? No. Yes. No. AI.
Last week was AI.
Last week was AI. The week before was synthetic fabrics.
Yep.
So we'll see what this one is, because it seems like we're kind of getting a mix of all kinds of different things, which is how Ryan's brain works. So that's perfect, actually.
It's been really fun finding out what's in this bag piece by piece.
For sure. And so I will set a timer on my phone. Let me get my phone. And you'll get to draw one of these out of this bag. And these things were created by me and people who know you that you've rambled randomly at. And then you get 5 minutes to talk about it. Only 5 minutes.
All right. Here's the fun part.
All right.
I'll make sure they're not stuck together.
They are kind of stuck together. I started taking them apart a little bit, but...
Okay, I got one.
Okay.
Okay. I drew software development.
All right, you got 5 minutes
Okay.
to talk about whatever it is that we want to talk about software development.
Okay. Let's do it.
Good luck to you, sir. I can't talk very much, so I'm not going to ask a lot of questions. I will. I'll still ask questions. Okay, go.
All right. We're going to start with what is software in typical Ryan fashion. Well, I can't talk about how to develop software if we don't talk about what software is.
Okay.
Most people probably have some idea of what software is because you use it on your phone and on your computer and all the time. And you've probably seen that software is made of code. So you probably have some idea of how this is going to fit together. Or maybe you're a software engineer and you know everything about what I'm about to tell you. I don't know who's watching this. So I'm just going to start at the beginning.
Oh, God. So terrifying.
So before, we had an episode on computers, and I started at the beginning. And this is a great segue, actually, because I was talking about how computers are built out of switches. And you can build logic into a switching system using these logic gates. And you can start to wire logic gates together in a way that performs some function. Like if you want to add two numbers, there's a series of switches you can wire together that's going to add two numbers. The biggest problem with this is that if you want to do different things, wiring stuff together is really inconvenient. So if you want to be able to sometimes add and sometimes multiply and sometimes subtract and just in general do different things, you don't want to be constantly changing wires around. Now, in the very early days of computation, that's exactly what they did. So there was a system built on punch cards, and many people have heard that people used to write software on punch cards. The way that this worked was it was essentially mechanically rewiring the system at runtime. So the punch card is it's a sheet of paper that has a bunch of holes in it. And you would feed this sheet of paper into a machine, and on the inside of that, something would try to make electrical contact through the sheet of paper. And if there was a hole there, it would make electrical contact, and if there was not a hole there, it would not make electrical contact. So people built a lot of software in this way. I guess you could call this software, but it was a way to reconfigure the circuits inside the computer in such a way that they could do different things. Instead of having to just physically change wires, you would feed it a punch card. Well,
okay, to interrupt you.
Yes.
Why do you know about software?
Oh, I'm a software engineer by trade. I've been writing software since I was 10 years old, maybe 9. So I got involved in programming at a very early age, and when I went to School of Mines, I studied physics, and everyone said, "Why did you study physics? You should have studied computers." And I was like, "Well, I already have been writing software since I'm 10 years old, why would I pay for a degree in how to write software?
When we met, you were still in school and you were working at a software company writing software while going to school for physics.
Yeah, that's right.
So
All
right, back to your little punch cards with electricity.
back to punch cards and electricity. So what is software?
Oh, geez. You have a minute and 36 seconds for the record?
I mean, I get a minute back because we took a detour.
No, it was still part of software. Talk faster.
What is software? Software is the ability to use data stored onto a computer to do this sort of dynamic runtime reconfiguration. So we have what is called a CPU, which is basically a bunch of circuits that do different things. And we have memory, which is a way to store software in such a way that it can be fed to the CPU. So instead of doing punch cards that's going to reconfigure it, we built memory that we would load software into, and software goes from the memory to the CPU, and the CPU will then kind of essentially switch on what are the bits in memory will cause it to switch about what circuits get executed within the CPU. So a CPU is just a whole bunch of circuits, and on the sort of perimeter of the CPU, we have a bunch of switches that determine, okay, these are the bits coming in, these are the execution paths that I need to go down. The different execution paths in a CPU are known as instructions. So a CPU has an instruction set, which is a set of instructions it can perform. And writing software is essentially the act of telling the CPU, I want you to perform these instructions in this order. And that's what software is. It is a language. It's something that you communicate. So people who are good at languages often tend to be good at code as well.
Or if they're bad at it, they're bad at code.
Yeah, there's definitely a part of the brain.
I'll give you a minute.
Okay.
Give you a minute.
There's definitely a part of the brain that I think is used in both language processing and writing code. Furthermore,
How many, we did this exercise a while ago, but how many different coding languages do you know?
Oh, I couldn't even begin to say. It's a lot. And it's easy for me to learn a new language. I can learn a new programming language in like a day or something.
It was something like, I pulled up a list of like 150 programming languages, and it was like 92 that you knew. And felt very confident that you knew.
That seems like a lot. That seems like too high of a number. But maybe.
No, it was super high.
Okay.
We'll do it again.
We'll do it again. So on the whole language and software topic, one thing, in the previous video I was discussing AI and how AI has sort of a lot of unexpected capabilities we call emergent phenomenon. Well, these AI models, large language models, turns out are phenomenal at writing code. So this holds true.
Okay, quick wrap up and then you're done.
This holds true even with AI models, that if you're good at language, you're probably good at code.
There you go. That's one of those that like you could spend forever on, but I tried not to let him get too far into this is the beginning of time.
I didn't even get to the development part. There was 2 words on here, software development, and all I talked about was the first word. All I talked about was software.
We talked a little bit about development because we talked about language. I've got puberty voice here going on. Freaking 11-year-old boy going through puberty or whatever. Oh my gosh.
Your vocal cords are definitely strained.
They are struggling.
Yep.
They are struggling. But I can't yell at the kids right now, and they love that.
Yeah, so do the dogs.
Yeah, I can't yell at the dogs either.
The dogs are like, I don't hear anything. It sounds vaguely like someone's talking to me.
So I'm definitely stealing this carrot from Alex.
Yep.
Anyway, all right, so that wraps that. And we'll try to do one Saturday. Hopefully we can get back on schedule. It's supposed to be Wednesdays and Saturdays, but like I said yesterday, I couldn't even talk this well. So it was just not happening. So
Saturday we'll do development.
No, no, that's not true. You lost your chance.
Can you put this one back in the bag?
No, I'm not putting it back in the bag. I'm throwing it away. But seriously, we probably should do a podcast. Anyway, so wherever you see this, put in the comments if you have any questions, if you want to add anything to the little DMs or anything this little bag, DM me. There we go. And I'll add them to these bags. And see if we can get some more content in there, and maybe he'll pull something that someone else has given us and like, share, follow.
Cool.
And I think that's it.
That's a wrap.
Thanks, guys.
Bye. follow a video. Computers are the worst. Look at this nonsense. Who thought this was a good idea?
How did you find out about it?
It's because it happens on accident on Zoom. And
Because
I'm
you
on Zoom all
randomly
the
thumbed
time.
up someone?
Yeah, probably. That's probably exactly what happened.